Yeah. Should we speak a little bit about what the Course in Miracles is? So
Yes,
Andrea
but
has
shall we
some
do that
frame
when we
for it.
start recording, Gary?
We're already recording right now.
No, not yet. Oh,
Oh,
yes,
not
we are.
yet.
Yes, we are. I just haven't opened Kindle. Okay,
It
yes,
is
sorry.
recording.
Pressing the
Yeah.
wrong button. Go.
Okay. So I see Joey had his little hound out, and you could hear his claw
Oh,
mark on the floor.
Oh,
And
Okay,
she
so the
drooled
Course
all
in,
over me too.
oh, no doubt. So the Course in Miracles is a channeled work. It was channeled by a woman by the name of Helen, an atheist Jewish woman, and she actually began hearing this voice come to her that she started doing automatic writing.
wow.
And this was a psychiatrist. She was also an agnostic or atheist, and
Hmm.
she was Jewish, and she had absolutely no relationship to Jesus. And yet
Right,
this voice came through her saying if this was the Christ. And
right,
when we read the book, you'll see in just a moment that it is pretty much impossible that anyone with a standard human consciousness wrote this book, because
yeah,
it is absolutely off the charts, a repetitive rehearsal and um, I don't want to say that word. It's a reintroduction of a very simple principle, which is that we have never left God. We're with that
Mm,
power now. There is absolutely, in the biggest realm of things, no separation. And what we are experiencing is quite a bit about the illusion of the mind, what we
right.
made up about it, who we judge, and how that judgment turns into our fears, and our fears turn into our sense of separation. And it just goes on and on. It is a beautiful work. I think personally, it's one of the most important bodies of literature that's been written in the last 2,000 years. It's
Yeah.
that good. And there's daily meditations. So every for every day of the week, there is a meditation
Oh,
that you can use. So if you choose to ever purchase A Course in Miracles, get the full version so you can get the daily meditations as well, because they're really
I,
quite profound. Oh,
I don't know if
good.
this is it. Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like it.
I looked inside. February 18th, 1998 is when I bought this book. I started reading and I started running more around the world and I stopped, so I feel like it's all new to me again. And I
Beautiful.
never got into the meditations or anything. So I don't know what you guys are doing with it. So that's why I was so pulled that it was
Yeah,
time
well, I'm so glad you're
again.
you're so now
Yeah.
you know something about the course anyway. So we'll just go
Yes.
ahead and
Yeah.
launch. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Also, there's the app. Did you guys get the app? It's this one.
Course in
yes.
Miracles app?
Oh,
Huh. I don't know about
And that
ACIM.
you can I'm following doing the daily teachings in that.
Oh,
that.
cool. Okay.
It's actually lovely. It's a lovely narrator with background music and everything. It's
Oh, how
nice.
nice.
So
Yeah.
you can read
And
it
it's
or you
I
can
can
listen
find it
to
in
it.
apps, or I have to go to, would I find it in apps?
Yes, you
On the
would.
phone?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, beautiful.
whatever it is, Play Store or whatever the Apple
Yeah.
one is. And
Okay.
yeah, just if you go ACIM and it comes up the one with the string of pearls, because there's
Beautiful.
actually quite a few of them.
Beautiful,
Mm.
Corley. Thank you.
Mm, it's great. Carly's here, but her internet is slow, so she's just listening.
Okay.
Hi,
Hi,
Carly.
Callie.
Callie.
Let's start sharing. Let me close that one. There we go. And I'll open up. All right. Can everyone see the screen?
Pretty small.
Beautiful. We completed number 3 last week. So who wants to read number 4?
I'll go ahead and read. Can you make it a little
Okay.
bigger, or is it going to be prohibitive to do that?
You want it bigger? Let me see.
Yeah, if you can.
Is that a bit better?
Yeah, we can make that work.
Okay.
We'll make it work. Okay. So number 4. Now remember, we've gone through several steps. And the last one was be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. So number 4, while the first step seems to increase conflict and the second may still entail conflict to some extent, this step calls for consistent vigilance against it. I have already told you that you can be vigilant against the ego as for it. This lesson teaches not only that you can be, but that you must be. It does not concern itself with the order of difficulty, but with clear-cut priority for vigilance. This lesson is unequivocal in that it teaches there must be no exceptions, although it does not deny that the temptation to make exceptions will occur. Here, then, your consistency is called on despite chaos. Yet chaos and consistency cannot coexist for long, since they are mutually exclusive. As long as you might be vigilant against anything, however, you are not recognizing this mutual exclusiveness and still believe that you may choose either one. By teaching what to choose, the Holy Spirit will ultimately teach you that you need not choose at all. This will finally liberate your mind from choice and direct it towards creation within the kingdom. Well, that was one of the more convoluted paragraphs I've ever read in the Course in Miracles. What may be useful, V, if we just scroll back and get what the lessons are again?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that would assist in the clarification? So one is be vigilant only for his God and his kingdom.
Oh, you want to go back to the other ones as well? So the
Yeah, I
one before
do.
that is
And
to
then
have
what's
peace.
that one?
To have
Yeah,
peace,
to have-
teach peace, learn it.
I think that wasn't the first one. What's the first one?
No, that's the second one. The first one
Yeah.
is to have, give all to all.
To have, to give all to all. And let's go down to the second one again. To have, give all to all. And then to have peace, teach peace, to learn it. Okay, we've got that one. And then be vigilant only for God and his kingdom. So I would like to just open up the conversation on the fourth one about vigilance for God and his kingdom. What does vigilance mean to people? For me, it's like I know I do not lose focus on whatever it is I'm being vigilant on. Does it mean something different to other people? The
That's
idea
pretty.
of vigilance?
No.
I sort of took that as like quiet your mind and be guided, rather than, because we sit around making choices. I do all the time. Wonder what
All the
choice.
time.
Yeah. But this sort of says not to do that. That's how I read it anyway.
And vigilance for me, I think, has to do with consistent vigilance would mean mindfulness is pay attention.
It would mean mindfulness for sure.
Entail conflict to some extent.
It seems as if that this is talking about that the only thing really to do here is to still the mind and see. In the Course in Miracles, it calls see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit, which simply means to see the reflection of God in all things. So when they talk about the Holy Spirit, it really is about the identification of oneness. and the consciousness and awareness of oneness of all things. So that would make sense to me.
There must be no exceptions.
I know I don't use the word vigilance or vigil, but I'm certainly reminded of the years of hearing in the Catholic Church that many people would freely volunteer to keep vigil, to keep a prayerful vigil at, let's say, a certain statue in the church and pray like to the Mother Mary, let's say. And they would actually say there's a formal vigil. And so it was a mindfulness, it was a prayerfulness, and it was a watch of sorts. And you would volunteer for your 15 minutes of prayer, and then another person would come in, and you were keeping the vigil, was what you'd call it in those days, and being vigilant. So I just wanted to throw that in there as a, a thing in Catholicism that's no longer, well, and I'm pretty certain in most places it's not practiced anymore.
Thanks, Jane.
The last line of this, I think, kind of seals it up for me. It says, by teaching what to choose, because the line before it says, you are not recognizing this mutually exclusively and still believe that you can choose either one, which is I might as well read the whole line. As long as you must be vigilant against anything, however, you are not recognizing this mutually exclusiveness and still believe that you can choose either one, the ego or through the eyes of the Holy Spirit. By teaching what to choose, the Holy Spirit will ultimately teach you that you need not choose at all. This will finally liberate your mind from choice and direct it towards creation within the kingdom. Oh, I love that last line. Do we have anything else we need to decipher, discuss, or break down in this paragraph? When I read it again, it makes more sense to me.
What I'm wondering is the choice between chaos and consistency? Or is it ego and spirit?
In my interpretation, I think it's between ego and spirit, because ego is chaos and consistency is a spirit.
Right. Okay.
So those two things would kind of pair up.
I do personally, I balk at the choice of not having choice, at the concept of not having choice a little bit. But I understand from this that the choice is being taken away because it's either you're listening to the Holy Spirit and you're making decisions based on that, or your other choice is to use the ego, to listen to the ego. And I guess that's why there is only one choice or no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We either have consistency or we have chaos.
And that creation is divine because it is from the creator. And so when we create within that energy, we don't need choice because we're actually being that spiritual, having that vigil, that connection with spirit.
I think that that's really close to the mark, Andrea. I mean, the way I interpret it, I mean, we're all interpreting it and we all are seeing through the lenses of our own understanding. But
Yeah.
when we are liberating our mind from choice.
Choice.
Yeah, this will finally liberate the mind from choice and direct it toward the kingdom. Because if you look, it says the line up before that the Holy Spirit will ultimately teach you that you need not choose at all. And the way I interpret that is that if we're not looking through the eyes of good and bad, light and dark, and we're not looking through the eyes of duality, we're looking through the eyes of oneness, then we see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit. And then we don't need to choose it at all because there is no choice other than that sense of oneness.
Right.
So when you're
Right.
seeing only the spiritual oneness, that consistency throughout all creation, then there's nothing to choose between because you're not seeing division. That's how I'm interpreting it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else have a different take on that than what I just said? Because we
No,
may.
I love it.
Okay. Who'd like to read number 5?
I'm happy to.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
go for it.
Choosing through the Holy Spirit will lead you to the kingdom. You create by your true being, but what you are, you must learn to remember. The way to remember it is inherent in the third step, which brings together the lessons implied in the others and goes beyond them toward real integration. If you allow yourself to have in your mind only what God put there, you are acknowledging your mind as God created it. Therefore, you are accepting it as it is. Since it is whole, you are teaching peace because you believe in it. The final step will still be taken for you by God, but by the third step, the Holy Spirit has prepared you for God. He is getting you ready for the translation of having into being. By the very nature of the steps you must take with him.
You read beautifully, Adria.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, I must remember to read slower.
Trying
So-
not trying to understand
Yeah.
while I'm reading, so
Yeah,
not
Slow,
rushing through
easy
anything.
understanding.
yes.
Choosing through the Holy Spirit will lead you to the kingdom. You create by your true being, in other words, by being your authentic self. But what you are, you must learn to remember. And I guess that's Earth School.
That is sort of remembering, yeah, definitely. And that is sort of remembering that we are a spiritual essence. And to see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit means simply our choosing through the Holy Spirit just means that we're seeing God in every aspect of creation, every living thing has the same essence as we do, animating a different form. And when we can walk through the world and see it through those eyes, that's when we start to remember who we are.
The way to remember it is inherent in the third step. Is the third step is be vigilant only for God and his king? Yeah?
Yes.
I think that's the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Only for God and his king. Okay.
For me, like the course always boils down to this one principle that we're on right now is, do I choose to see my world through the eyes of oneness, or do I choose to see it through the eyes of separation and hierarchies? And if I choose to see it through the eyes of oneness, I reach a certain level of spiritual awakening and awareness because I'm more tapped into that energy than any other point in time. So the Course constantly brings us back to that. I mean, Eckhart Tolle calls it, practicing being in the now, and
Right.
all that beautiful and wonderful. But the Course, it's I think in his work, he goes into that state of being one with all things. And that's why he reaches states of nirvana. But of course, is going about it a little bit differently. It's like using the mind to choose to see through the eyes of the Holy Spirit.
And that once you make that choice, you don't need any others because you become the creator from which you came.
That's my interpretation of it. The trick is, how do you do that consistently?
Uh-huh.
That's why we're all on, that's why we're all on this call.
That's why
to
we're here, right?
remind ourselves. That's why we're here. That's the intent. That's the intent of these calls, is to remind ourselves.
Every Tuesday, any evening in the United States, anybody knows where Jane is. Here, here.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Drill.
And open,
Get it in there.
open.
I don't know. Any way
Hey,
I can
Fee,
get it in there.
how long have we been doing this, Fee?
I think we started January 23. So what's that, 18 months? And
What-
we're at 16%. But we're not in any hurry here.
We go slow. We're not in a hurry.
Absolutely. It's not a matter of getting through it, it's a matter of absorbing it.
Oh, and Andrea, also as we read through it, all of us will we'll write down a statement or a sentence that we really love, and we want to live through that the following week.
Oh.
If you come across a statement that really resonates with you, write it down, and that will be the statement that you focus on for all next week.
Of what we're studying today. Something of what we're
Right.
studying today.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
you'll just find a
wonderful.
sentence that you go, oh, that's really cool. I really like that. And then write it
Great.
down and use it for the following week.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
where are we? On number 6 now?
Yes, and I'll just point out as well, Adria, because you've got the book. If it's the same version, it's page 108, 109 that we're at. So if you ever want to look back at it.
109. Good. Thank you. I
Yeah.
wondered. Okay, I'm hoping I
have
do. I don't know what
109.
version I have. 109. One
I
second.
have 110. I have page 110 in my book.
110 is 110. Yeah, we just turned over. Yeah.
110.
110 halfway down.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
excellent.
Oh, thank you, you guys. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I just got the book recently too. You're right. It's 8, 9, 10. Oh my goodness. And yeah.
I think it's helpful to have the book, especially when you
Yeah.
listen to people or read from David Hawkins, your friend Gary, and he talks about frequency, and books have frequency as well. So even just having the book.
Yeah.
Is a powerful thing. Sometimes I find if I'm reading from the Kindle version on my phone or the app, it doesn't make sense, and I pick up the book and it's like, it's exactly the same words.
Mhm. So you all have been working from the beginning through to this
Yes.
place.
Yes.
I get
So we're just
okay.
going through, the
Yes,
book.
wonderful.
Yeah. So, and if you ever want to look back at previous pages or where we started from, it's all on YouTube. So
Oh, lovely.
you can follow us
Okay.
way back. Who wants to read number 6?
I'll do it. It's only little.
Go, Caroline.
You learn first that having rests on giving, and not on getting. Next, you learn what you teach, and that you want to learn peace. This is the condition for identifying with the kingdom, since it is the condition of the kingdom. You have believed that you are without the kingdom, and have therefore excluded yourself from it in your belief. It is therefore essential to teach you that you must be included, and that the belief that you are not is the only thing that you must exclude.
Mm.
That's beautiful.
It just
So
summed
true.
up my
Reminds
whole
me-
life.
What was that, Carly?
It just summed up my whole life.
Yeah, I've been just thinking that. It's like, how many times in the
Cora.
past have you thought you're not included, you're not important, you know? And it's the ego,
I'm
which
not
you think
enough.
the ego makes you bigger, but the ego is just trying to keep you shut down and smaller.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
And it tricks us into thinking we're on our own island all by ourselves.
Absolutely.
And nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I've got to eat a worm. Yeah. I know that song.
Right.
Mm.
And that you learn what you teach. Oh boy, yes.
Does anyone have any questions about this paragraph or any further clarifications you might want to add?
I love it. It's so simple.
Really is.
Be included.
I'm just going to move the page up a little bit.
It's wonderful.
I think somewhere in there is my takeaway for the next week, but I can't
Yeah.
get the words just yet, so it'll come. Should we move on?
Yep.
I might read number
Sure.
7. Right. The third step is thus one of protection for your mind, allowing you to identify only with the center, where God placed the altar to himself. Altars are beliefs, but God and his creations are beyond belief because they are beyond question. The voice for God speaks only for belief beyond question, which is the preparation for being without question. As long as belief in God and his kingdom is assailed by any doubts in your mind, his perfect accomplishment is not apparent to you. This is why you must be vigilant on God's behalf. The ego speaks against his creation and therefore engenders doubt. You cannot go beyond belief until you believe fully.
Wow.
So if the third is be vigilant only for God and his kingdom, it says the third step is thus one of protection for your mind. So it gives you rest, and that you don't have to choose outside of that because you are within it and God is within you.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
beautiful,
uh,
Adria.
Yeah, well said.
it is.
Yeah.
It feels like it's like a vertical union.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
And
love
his
this
perfect
one.
accomplishment.
Yeah,
Freaking
it is.
sorry.
No, that's okay. I love this one line says, you cannot go beyond belief until you believe fully.
Me
Which
too.
seems
Yeah, I love that.
contradictory and strange, but it's actually until you believe fully that there is no separation in creation, although physically it certainly looks like it. But until you believe that fully, you cannot overcome the division and the chaos of multiple belief systems. So there's really only one belief that you require to have, and that sets you free.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Who wants to read number 8?
Joey or
Go,
Jane?
Jane.
To teach the whole sonship without exception demonstrates that you perceive its wholeness and have learned that it is one. Now you must be vigilant to hold its oneness in your mind, because if you let doubt enter, you will lose awareness of its wholeness and will be unable to teach it. The wholeness of the kingdom does not depend on your perception, but your awareness of its wholeness does. It is only your awareness that needs protection, since being cannot be assailed. Yet a real sense of being cannot be yours while you are doubtful of what you are. This is why vigilance is essential. Doubts about being must not enter your mind, or you cannot know what you are with certainty. Certainty is of God for you. Vigilance is not necessary for truth, but it is necessary against illusions.
What is the sonship?
The Holy Spirit? Or is it Father, Son, Holy Spirit?
I interpret the sonship as all creation, all souls throughout all creation. And that means every living thing is an aspect of God and its myriad forms of expression. And that is the sonship in my mind, anyways.
Okay.
B, do you have a formal description of the sonship?
I'm having a look if there is definition. Sometimes there is. Where are
I could
they?
open up my chat GPT and I can
Yeah,
ask
have a look.
there. Let me see if I can get that opened.
Clarification terms, there we go.
Oh, can I get into it through that?
No, it doesn't give a definition of sonship. I remember we looked in here for the Holy Spirit, though, that's in there.
Well, I found on Google that in the Bible, of course, different here, but sonship can refer to the relationship between a son and his father, or the position of being the son of God. The word sonship in Hebrew can also refer to a male child's relationship with their biological mother. Sonship definition in Cambridge, England, Cambridge English, the older son. But that everything is the son of God, everything is the creation of God. I've never encountered that word before.
Mm.
Okay, I've got it. It
Ooh,
says sonship refers to all parts of the one split mind that believed it could accomplish the separation, wherein each fragment appears.
Jane,
and before it
could you
says
read that
on the
again?
level, yes, it starts off, it says, on the level of the dream, sonship refers to all parts of the one split mind that believed it could accomplish the separation.
Fascinating.
You know, my brain froze on that. Jane, could you read it one more time?
Yeah, sure. On the level of the dream, sonship refers to all parts of the one split mind that believed it could accomplish the separation.
Um,
That just makes my brain go soft.
I can't.
I do
It's
not know
just-
why it makes me go like confused, but it does.
Yeah, me too.
Huh. So that must mean there's something in it. Does anyone else feel confused by that statement?
It kind of
Audra
made
does.
sense. Sonship refers to all parts of the one split mind, and if you stop there, for me, it makes sense. So the sonship
Where
is
are you
all
taking
parts.
that? Where are you
That's
reading
just
that?
that's from
I
what
don't
just
know.
Jane
It's on
said.
Miracle. Oh, mine, I read it on miraclestudies.net.
Huh.
For me, I
Okay.
think it'll be easier to actually look at it and be able to better absorb it. Because yeah, like Gary and Andrea, I'm struggling with just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it simply is stated here, question 20, what is meant by the sonship and who or what is included? And that's essentially what it says.
Would you
Oh,
read it
I
one
mean,
more time?
wow, it goes into, in heaven, sonship refers to God's one creation, the Christ who's in God's one son.
That
That
didn't make
sort
it.
of refers to the biblical
Right.
definition.
Again, this is the same Course in Miracles study.
Huh.
But most of the terminology it's all consistently from religious studies. It's all from consistently just to be consistent. It uses a lot of Christian terminology, which I struggled with initially because my upbringing was very anti-religion, full stop. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
There's another
Carly's got a hand up. What do you want to say, darling?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you,
yes.
Callie.
Okay. I can't turn the volume up, so I'm only listening.
You're
You're
perfect.
good. You're good.
So the what I love is the like, I'm going to say illusion then, the illusion of sonship, because it talks in the paragraph before about not questioning, just being, and being one with all that is in the hierarchy. And then the conversation is around, what does this mean? But in the context of the paragraphs before, it's like you don't need to even question it when you're in oneness.
Yeah.
And so I just thought I'd add that in because I'm very curious listening to you all.
Okay. I also found, I think this might delineate between, it says what is meant by sonship. It says the term sonship or son of God in the Course is used in two ways: to denote the states of reality and illusion. In heaven, sonship refers to God's one creation, the Christ, who is God's one son.
That seems really contrary to me to what I've always thought the Course spoke on.
Teaching, yeah.
Does anyone else have that interpretation? Because that what you're reading, Jane, that doesn't come from the Course in
Yeah.
Miracles.
Well, actually, you know who this is? And I think well, maybe all of us know Gloria and Kenneth Wapnick.
I
It's
never
Yeah.
reading. I heard the name, but
yes,
Yeah.
Kenneth Wapnick has written a lot of he's a psychotherapist. And but the heading is Course in Miracles by Gloria and Kenneth Wapnick. And then
Okay. That right there makes me suspect, and this is why.
okay.
You guys, I probably told you, but why can't I remember his name? Bill Thetford, the man who co-wrote The Course in Miracles with Helen. He was Helen's supervisor in a psychiatric ward in a major hospital. She came to him and said, I think I'm going crazy because I'm doing all this automatic writing and I don't understand it. I don't believe it, but I can't stop. And he said, let me see it. And then he supported her in finishing it. And so those two, Helen downloaded the information, Bill organized the information. And one thing that Bill was because he would come to my Course in Miracles study group when we were working with the AIDS community. He was a gay man as well. And what he said to me, someone mentioned Marianne Williamson, and he didn't say anything bad, but he did say that no one should set themselves up as a reinterpreter of the Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles stands alone unto itself and needs no reinterpretation. And he was not happy that Marianne Williamson was writing all of these books on reinterpreting and simplifying the Course in Miracles, because he said, this is what happens to every teaching. People come along and they think they're going to enhance it or make it easier to understand. So they begin to rewrite the original texts, which then starts this distortion campaign that happens throughout. So we have two other individuals other than Marianne Williamson who are reinterpreting, in my opinion. That's the first time I've ever heard that. I've never heard in the Course in Miracles that I am the only Son of God. I've just never heard that before. Because that has the shackles go up on the back of my neck just a little bit, but not a lot, just a tiny bit. I don't want to go into like seeing the separation, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that ever of course.
But I mean, the Son of God all too typically is simply Jesus.
Yeah. And in the Course itself, I don't know if I've come across that statement. I am the only Son of God. I don't know if I've ever come across that. Have you guys ever come across that? No?
No.
How does it strike you, V?
That feels like separation.
It does to me as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, and it was a great contribution, Jane. I'm just saying that I don't know if Kenneth Wapnick and whoever the lady's name is, in
Gloria,
their interpretation of it, did not infuse their own preferred system of thinking about Christ into it. And that's my only red flag, is that when we started working with the AIDS community and teaching A Course in Miracles, it was like, we just read the Course. And we passed the book around to every single person in a circle and said, you read the next paragraph, you read the next paragraph. No one set themselves up as an authority about it. And we just tried to reinterpret it if people had questions best to our ability. And Bill Thetford sat in the back of the room every night on a Friday night and finally came up and said, I'm Bill Thetford, and I love the way you guys are teaching the Course in Miracles, because no one's setting themselves up as the guru or reinterpreting or are trying to reinterpret the Course of Miracles. You're just reading it right from the book.
Wow.
And that's what I think happens to all spiritual movements, is that this beautiful, flawless piece of work comes in and people go, well, I can make it different. I can make it simpler, and I can do this or I can do that to it, where none of it should be touched after the original work has been channeled through. That's my own personal opinion. But I don't know about everybody else, but when you read that, Jane, I was like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Did anybody else get that? Or was it just me?
Well, no, I did too when I first read it, you know, because it was going on to say that there's the sonship has two different ways that one can go with the word sonship, the state of reality and illusion, and then in heaven, the sonship refers to the Son of God, you know.
Mm.
So it's like,
Yeah. I think we should ponder that one for next week, and we'll read that one again. We'll start with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Joe?
I
Joe's got his hand up.
Yeah,
Joey.
I want to throw some stuff out there. So, while looking for what Jane read, I found it and I threw it in the Facebook group. So, it's in there to analyze.
Okay.
But also, my Google has some AI overview. And with what I typed in my Google search, I have this in the AI overview. In A Course in Miracles, the term sonship has multiple meanings. Then it has membership highlighted. The sonship is a group of people who participate in being God's son. The Course refers to the members of the sonship in T-1, Roman numeral II, 6, 2. Then creation. The sonship is the sum of all that God created, as stated in, then it gives another reference or two to the book title or the book pages. Then there's a mystical concept. Being God's son is a mystical concept that implies we are an extension of God, a formless, boundless spirit with no beginning or end. And there's no reference for that one, as well as this last one, external extension of love. The sonship of God's eternal extension of love, which cannot be changed. The Course says that if any part of the sonship is asleep to the truth, it affects the whole. And that's all the AI overview throughout there. So I'll screenshot that as well, V, and throw it in the group too.
Put in the group, yeah. That's great.
Out.
Thank you.
That is so much closer to what I think is the truth.
Yeah.
Closer.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
great
read that
conversation.
one again. We'll read that again next week anyway,
Yeah.
because we're almost at 9 o'clock and get a better understanding with it. And yes, Adria, if you're not in the group, Carolee, do you want to add Adria to the group?
Sure.
A little Facebook group?
Yeah.
Because Joe's put the link in there.
Thank
And I'll,
you.
and I'll
Thank you, Joey.
him out to Gary.
I can switch my Zoom to my phone and send it in the chat real quick if need be.
No, that's okay, because we've got to get through our lessons for the week to go forward. I've got mine. I've taken a bit of a combination of what we've read today. I believe fully that I am included. I play fully knowing that God guides me.
Great.
I've got
Anyone
mine.
else ready? Yes.
I've got mine, so I'll read that. I cannot go beyond my beliefs until I believe fully.
Mm.
Wow.
Who's
I've got
next?
mine.
Carolee? Yep.
You must be included, and the belief that you are not is the only thing that you must exclude.
Mm-hmm.
Good one, Callie.
Mine's to teach the whole sonship without exception demonstrates that you perceive its wholeness and have learned that it is one.
Good on you. You'll have a great understanding of sonship when we come back next week, then, Carly.
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Sure.
Let's find out.
I believe you fully that you will. Jane, have you shared yours?
Yes, I do learn what I teach. And therefore, peace is mine.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Adria, do you have yours?
Yeah, mine is to have peace, teach peace, to learn it.
Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sisters in peace.
We're all going
Yes,
down the
yes,
same path,
indeed.
aren't we?
Yes, indeed.
Linda, have you got one?
I do. It's and it's just the same as everybody else's, but sounds different. Learn what you teach, and that you want to
Yes.
learn peace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's a
I gotta
big
go.
one. Okay, see ya.
Bye, Linda.
Bye.
Joe, have you shared yours?
I have not. Gary kind of grabbed mine again. So I'm debating which of these other ones is
Only
fitting.
because I'm jealous of your hair, Joey. That's the only reason.
Just, give you a little. Vigilance is not necessary for truth, but it is necessary against illusions.
Mm,
Yeah, I like that one.
mhm.
Very good.
Yeah,
Some good ones in there today.
definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I think we've got
Thank you.
everybody
Well,
now.
Wonderful.
this is what Carly and I do every Tuesday night. So.
I love it. I love it. And thank you. Thank you for having me here with you all.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Absolutely.
Lovely to have
Adrian,
you.
Always
come
welcome.
back.
Come on back.
Okay. I will.
Yeah,
I
love to
will.
see you.
Okay, God bless you
Okay.
guys.
Thanks,
See ya.
everybody.
Love you.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Bye.